What if I told you that narcissistic abuse doesn't just hurt you, it reprograms you? One of the most damaging effects of being in a relationship with a narcissist is how they slowly, systematically train you to abandon yourself. And this isn't accidental, it's by design. The narcissist can't control someone who is deeply rooted in their truth, in their instincts, and in their boundaries. So instead, they slowly chip away at your connection to self until you forget how to speak your own language completely. If you have watched this channel for a while, then you have heard me say that in order for any relationship with a narcissist to survive and be somewhat successful, it absolutely mandates that the victim completely abandon and betray themselves on a daily basis. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 distinct ways narcissists train you to abandon yourself, one layer at a time. But first, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching sessions with me, or if you'd like information on my new course all about understanding trauma bonds and how to break them for good, please visit my new website at jillwise.com, linked in the description below. So today we're talking about 5 different ways that narcissists train you to completely abandon and betray yourself. Because as I mentioned, in order for any relationship with a narcissist to survive and be somewhat successful, it will require the target to betray and abandon themselves on a daily basis. And the first one we are going to talk about is how they condition you to silence your needs. In the beginning, it starts with subtle cues. Maybe you ask for something small, something like honesty, consistency, a little reassurance maybe, and suddenly there's a cold silence, a snide comment, or maybe even an explosion of anger or rage. The goal of the narcissist is to train you to believe that your needs are a burden. They act as if your very humanity, your longing for connection, safety, respect, is too much. You're too needy. Your needs are outrageous, unnecessary, burdensome, and completely inconvenient. And over time, this will indeed teach you to start muting yourself. Eventually, you'll just stop asking because you know that your needs or desires will be met with contempt, disdain, and disgust. So you start preemptively minimizing your needs to avoid punishment. And eventually, you forget what it felt like to be allowed to take up space, to voice your opinion, or to address a need. That part of you gets abandoned and then buried completely as the years roll on. Next, the narcissist begins working on something far more insidious than just controlling what you do. They start reshaping how you feel. You will begin to notice a very disturbing pattern developing that anytime you express an honest emotion, they flip the script. If you say you're hurt, they say you're overreacting, or worse, they'll call you crazy. If you try to express disappointment, you're accused of ruining the moment. If you dare to show happiness, they'll find subtle ways to minimize it, mock it, or kill the mood entirely. Your joy becomes inconvenient. Your pain becomes ammunition, and what you need to understand is this isn't random or your imagination. It's training, grooming, and conditioning. Slowly but surely, your nervous system learns that emotional expression equals emotional punishment. Your body begins associating vulnerability with threat. So you adapt. You stop sharing. You stifle your laughter, mute your frustration, and bury your sadness. Not because you're weak, but because your system is trying to protect you from what always comes next. Mockery, guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or cold withdrawal. Eventually, you stop feeling altogether. Not because you're broken, but because numbness becomes the safest place to exist. In a world where your feelings are treated as weapons against you, Emotional silence becomes your survival strategy. Next, they replace your intuition with their version of reality. Gaslighting isn't just about telling lies. It's about slowly severing your connection to your own internal truth. It's a full-scale assault on your intuition, your memory, and your ability to trust yourself. The narcissist will flat out deny things that absolutely happened. They'll rewrite conversations you clearly remember, twist your words until you don't recognize them, and mock your instincts as paranoid, dramatic, or delusional. And over time, they don't just manipulate facts, they start narrating your reality for you. They tell you what to think, how to feel, and eventually who you are. At first, you might resist. You fight to hold on to what's real. But gaslighting is a slow poison. The longer you're exposed to it, the more confused and destabilized you become. Until one day, without realizing it, you begin deferring to their version of events instead of your own. That tiny voice in your gut, it goes silent. And that silence is no accident, because a silenced gut is much easier to dominate. And for a narcissist, your disorientation is their control. Next, they punish your individuality. One of the narcissist's most subtle but soul-crushing tactics is how they punish your individuality. Narcissists are deeply threatened by authenticity, especially when it reflects something they can't fake or control. Your uniqueness reminds them of what they lack: originality, depth, inner freedom. So when you express a personal opinion that doesn't align with theirs, when you wear something bold that makes you feel beautiful, or when you pursue a dream that doesn't center on them, they don't celebrate it. They mock it, undermine it, or worse, they emotionally withdraw. No support, no recognition, just coldness and contempt. And the message is clear: be who I want you to be, or be alone. And over time, this emotional punishment teaches you to self-edit. You start dimming your light to avoid conflict. You downplay your talents, second-guess your style, abandon your joy. Eventually, you shrink yourself to fit inside the version of you they've deemed acceptable. And that's when the real damage sets in, because you begin to fear your own uniqueness. Not because it's wrong, but because they made it feel dangerous. And finally, they train you to internalize blame for their abuse. This is perhaps the most damaging manipulation of all of them, because this is how narcissists slowly train you to believe their abuse is your fault. When they explode in rage, give you the silent treatment, lie, cheat, or humiliate you, it's never about their behavior. It's about how you made them do it. You're told you're too sensitive, too cold, too emotional, too needy. Every reaction you have to their mistreatment is twisted into evidence you are the problem. And this conditioning doesn't just affect how you view the relationship. It reshapes how you view yourself. You begin to carry the weight of their dysfunction like it's your moral failing. You start managing their moods instead of honoring your own. You justify their cruelty, overanalyze your responses, and apologize just to keep the peace. And little by little, you abandon your right to have boundaries, your right to be treated with dignity, your right to say, this is not okay. Eventually, you just endure mistreatment. You believe you deserve it. Not because it's true, but because they've worked tirelessly to convince you that their lack of character is somehow a reflection of yours. So in closing, the most dangerous thing a narcissist does isn't yelling, lying, or cheating. It's how they slowly convince you to disconnect from yourself. They teach you to distrust your feelings, ignore your needs, silence your truth, and apologize for your existence. And they do it so gradually, so systematically, that by the time you realize what's happening, you're already living as a version of yourself they constructed to control. But here's the truth. The real you isn't gone. The real you is not broken. It's just buried beneath layers of shame, silence, and survival. And underneath it all, it's waiting to rise. Healing means returning to the parts of yourself they trained to abandon and learning that your emotions, your voice, your boundaries, and your joy were never the problem. They were the threat. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everybody.